purpose of this conversation is to basically try and introduce in a very simple way what the Quran is. And I'd like to start with an unusual place. I want you to think about a man whose name was Ibrahim alayhi salam, who lived many thousands of years ago, and after going through some extremely difficult tests, finally Allah gave him the okay that he's passed all the tests. He is told to build the Kaaba, raise its foundations actually. The incorrect way to say it would be, in fact, he was told to build the Kaaba. No. إِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ. When Ibrahim alayhi salam was raising the foundations that were already there of the house. So imagine the foundation already exists, you are only building on top of it. That's what he was doing. Okay? And Ismail is doing it with him, alayhi salam. So as they're doing this, he decides this is the time to make dua. Now I know, our subject is supposed to be, what is the Quran? It's all going to come together in a sec. Bear with me. So you have, in this remarkable story, Ibrahim alayhi salam building the Kaaba, and as he's building it, he realizes that he's just passed all these tests. And this building of the Kaaba is kind of like a graduation ceremony, right? This is this momentous thing that he's getting to do. A great service to Allah. And imagine for Muslims, we already know, every single prayer that every single human being prays in that direction, since that time until now, he's rewarded for it. He gets a share in that. He's doing one of the most incredible good deeds ever done, right? So as he's doing it, he realizes this is a good time to ask Allah for something. So he's building this dua, he's building this Kaaba, and he says, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا, accept from us, our Rabb. Meaning me and my son, please accept from us. And in that same passage then, he makes this dua. He says, رَبَّنَا وَابْعَثْ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِكَ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. Rabb, in the future generations of this boy that I have with me, make him Muslim, make his children Muslim, make their children's children Muslim. That's the word dhurriya. And Ya Allah, among them, send them a messenger who will read them your miracles. And he'll teach them the book. And he'll teach them wisdom. And he'll purify them. Innaka antal azizul hakim. You're the one that has all the authority, all the wisdom. You're the source of all the wisdom there is. These people will need wisdom. Send them a messenger who can do that for them. So I just want you to imagine thousands of years ago, a man with his young boys building this building. And as they're building, they're asking Allah to one day in their future generations, thousands of years later, send a man who will read a book onto their children. The first thing I want you to think about what the Quran is the answer to the prayer of Ibrahim alayhi salam. It's not something, you don't earn, when you ask for something, you have to be if you're asking for something big, you have to do something big before you ask. Yeah? So you can't do 1 hour of work and ask for $1 million. You can't do that. You have to do something big. Ibrahim alayhi salam has done bigger things than any other human being before him. He's jumped into a fire for Allah. He's put a knife to his child's neck for Allah. He's left his family in the middle of a desert for Allah. He challenged his own father and his own entire community for Allah. He's done things nobody's ever done. And now he's finally in a position to ask. So the one who did the greatest deeds for Allah got to ask the greatest request, and the greatest request was Quran. That was the greatest request. I mean, think about that. What we have here is actually a loving father who doesn't know who I am, who doesn't know who you are, but loves us anyway. And he's worried about us, and he's thinking the one thing I can give these kids, food, clothes, money, these things will come. That Allah will provide. But the one thing I really need Allah to give, that I've earned the right to ask Allah and I'm hoping Allah accepts, is He gives them this book. And to me, that's like the first definition of the Quran. Allah gifted human beings with this incredible gift of the heart, right? And our hearts have just this huge spectrum of emotions, right? We have anger, we have love, we have patience, we have concern, we have sincerity, we have longing, we have all these emotions. But for a lot of people, the emotions that are negative, like greed, like anger, like jealousy, they start dictating their entire life. Like a person's entire life is run by greed, or is run by self-image, or is run by, their desire to own more, So our hearts basically end up going out of control. Quran, Allah describes it, He says, Fihi shifa'ul lima fis sudur. In it is healing for whatever problems lie deep inside the chest. Clearly, when He says shifa'un lima fis sudur, healing for what is in the chest, then there is something in the chest that needs healing. There is a disease inside. There's a wound, there's an injury inside. And by the way, lima fis sudur, for whatever lies in the chest, is not limited to diseases. Yes, jealousy is a disease, anger is a disease, but you know, sadness is not a disease, it's a wound. Somebody goes through something really terrible in life and they're sad. And they think about it all the time. They're depressed. You know, somebody has a lot of anxiety. They have a lot of fear. These are also things inside somebody's heart. They're not a disease, but they are an injury. They are a problem. And Allah is saying that He gave this Quran as a healing for whatever somebody might find in the chest. SubhanAllah.
You know, like earlier, I had no idea how important the Quran was. But when I realized that the Quran is actually the word of Allah, and it was sent down, His revelations was sent down from Gabriel straight to our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and then to us, I think just having that knowledge, and I think the connectivity of how that all worked is, I think, just amazing. The realization didn't happen just like that. You know, alhamdulillah, you know, I listened to a lot of lectures from some scholars, and of course from Ustadh Nouman Ali Khan, and learned that there's so many gems and so much lessons we can learn from the Quran. You know, I had no idea, and it's so amazing, and you know, I've just begun. And I really pray that Allah will give me that understanding to know even more, inshallah. You know, it's just, I think it's only been a year now since I've begun, a year plus. And I still think that I don't know anything, you know, like I have so much more to learn, so much more. And I guess, you know, there's a lot more to learn until the day that we die.
This book is such an incredible source of balance of your life in this world and your concerns for the next life.